Police officer told everybody they could go, I knew that Tommy wasn't having it. And prior to that, maybe a few weeks prior to that, Thanksgiving, I believe it was, because my case was November 28, 1989. I got out originally set in September of 2010. Anyway, a few weeks prior to that, I was talking to Tommy's family. Um, his brothers and his nephew. I was really close with one of his nephews uh, by the name of Crow. I heard that Crow is no longer with us. Rest in peace. Um, and I was talking to them, and they were like, "Hey, I know this guy is hard to handle, but you know, will you look out for him? You guys are always hanging out together. Will you look out for him?" And I told him, I said, "Well, if we get into a situation, or if he gets into a situation and I'm there, if he doesn't come back, I'm not coming back." So we, we're there at the scene. The cop, as I said, told us we can leave. Everybody uh, started walking off. Two people that were there, not mentioning their names, uh, they were walking pretty fast because they also knew, as I knew, that Tommy wasn't going for it. And by not going for it, meaning he was going to do something. Nobody knew what. I was walking very slow for the same reason, because I knew that he was going to do something. And, true to my word, I was going to be there and I was going to do something as well. So what he did was he punched the police officer in the face, and they started fighting. And they began fighting for control of the police officer's service revolver. Um, at that time, I ran back to his car, got the sawed off, which was under the seat. He had a sawed off 12 gauge that we had, that we would carry around. And so I fired a shot, right? So Tommy was at the barrel end of the police officer's service revolver. The police was trying to shoot him. He finally gained some control over his gun by continuously biting Tommy to try to make him let go of the service revolver. He was able to point the gun in Tommy's direction, and he shot him, killed him, shot him 3 times. Uh, and as I said, I fired one shot. It was a single shot sawed-off shotgun, so I fired a shot trying to draw his gunfire towards me, figuring that I had the car to shield me. Looking in hindsight, I still would have been killed. A bullet would have went right through the door and killed me anyway. But so I, fired a shot, got in the car, reloaded the shotgun, and before I could get off another shot, another police officer was behind me, told me to drop the gun, and they took me into custody. The police officer that I fired at, once I was in custody and back of the car, he came over and tried to beat me up a little bit. Um, but, whatever. Anyway, I was taken in. Um, Initially, they wanted to know who were the other individuals uh, that were there on the scene, and I wouldn't give them information on that. They also were asking questions about things that they probably shouldn't have known, right? I come to find out later that at the time that we caught the case, there was somebody on the scene, a CI or confidential informant on the scene, telling them all kind of different things of what was going on. They were giving them information on Tommy. They were giving them information on me, including the nickname. They were talking about, as far as my association with Crow and the people that I hang around and the things that I was doing, as well as stuff that Alice was doing. And clearly it was somebody that knew us intimately, right? Because there were certain things that they knew that uh, stranger wouldn't have known, right? Because we didn't really talk a lot. We didn't even, especially like Crow and Tommy, they wouldn't generally, I don't know if they took pictures with family, but I know if when we were out hanging out, you were never going to freaking take a picture of them. And if you were, seen out there like with a camera, you're going to get beat up or worse, right? Because it's going to be assumed that, like, okay, why are you taking pictures with me? Are you working with the police or what's going on? Anyway, so I went in. Initially, as I was going through court, they offered me a couple deals um, for information. They gave me one deal. I believe it was like 3 or 4 years. They would have charged me with assault on a police officer, 3 or 4 years, and but I had to give them certain information. They were asking questions about Tommy and certain things that they suspected that he had done based on information they had got from someone else, believing that I would know because he and I were close. So I didn't have anything to say. I didn't have any information about anything about Tommy or anyone else. And then, they were asking other information about other information, and with the possibility that I would get tried as a juvenile instead of an adult. Now, had I got tried as a juvenile, then I would have aged out at 25. So I would have aged out of California Youth Authority. I got out at 38. I went in at 17. I got out at 38. So I would actually age out at 25 had I got the Youth Authority number. But come on. I mean, my thing was and still is that if you do something, you sign up, you do something with someone, you don't try to get yourself out of a situation by turning on someone else, right? So if you find that that situation or that lifestyle no longer serves you, then you take care of whatever you got to take care of, meaning serving your time or whatever you got to do, and then you move away from that lifestyle. But you don't, you don't, turn over on people that you've made commitments to. And in my opinion, that makes you very untrustworthy, even for good citizens, because some people are like, well, you're not in that lifestyle, then, it's no big deal. Like, no, if you committed to something, then you stick with it. That's just me, my philosophy. All right. So now my thing is, again, as I work as a substance abuse counselor, I also work as an anger management counselor. And I'm kind of trying to build my brand around the anger management. I also just recently finished the domestic violence. I have to do a year of internship before I'm officially certified for that. I'm looking forward to getting involved in that as well. So with this channel, I'm hoping to be able to assist people who are similar to me, the way that I was growing up. A lot of the youth, they're out there. They think that the prison lifestyle is glamorous. They think they look up to a lot of us or people who are in prison, and it's not. There's nothing really glamorous about it. However, I do understand the draw, right, to that lifestyle, because some of us, we kind of grow up believing that that is the only thing that we have, the only thing we have to really look forward to. So we get involved in that lifestyle, and we commit to it, right? And in reality, the youngsters should know that generally they are more committed to the cause, right? Everybody, when I was growing up, it was always about stay down for the cause, right? The young people, or the generation, the people growing up, are generally the people that are more committed to the cause than the people that are running, so-called running the cause, right? Um, because they're out there, they're willing to do stuff, they're willing to die, they're willing to put their life in danger as long as they have the support of their, friends and associates. But um, a lot of times they find out that it's not the same. Also, um, when you're living that lifestyle, there are certain rules and regulations, which I'm not going to get into. It's not really my place to do so because I'm no longer living that lifestyle. But there are people on different channels, right, that talk about the politics of it, right? So, definitely check out their channels and, hear some of the things that they have to say about, the different politics and stuff like that. So, but anyway, if you mess up or it's determined that you mess up or something, you're going to get got, right? So one day you're going out and you're putting in work and you're stabbing and beating up and doing all these things for the cause. And the next day, somebody says, hey, you know what? He messed up. There you go. They're going to have you next, right? Uh, so it's definitely not the lifestyle for anyone. I'm fortunate that throughout my time, I didn't really have any issues. I mean, I had some issues, but nothing that I would call serious issues. Because sometimes people go in there and they have a really bad time, right? You might see a friend or associate go in, he's like, "Oh, the homie did so many years, right? It's nothing in there. It's easy. It's easy, right?" So maybe it was easy for that individual, right? And sometimes they're lying, but maybe it was easy for that individual. Doesn't mean you're going to have the same experience. Also, as you travel from yard to yard, um, it's different, right? Each yard has its own stuff. I mean, there are some things that remain the same, certain rules and regulations that remain the same, but they're different depending on who has the keys to the yard, who has the most people on the yard or the most influence, who's selling, has the biggest sack, drugs or whatever. It's going to make a difference in how things play out for you. So you want to know that everything isn't what it seems. So anyway, um, I'm hoping, as I stated in the beginning, I'm hoping that this channel can help people, young people and older people, right? Because a lot of the anger management stuff, it's rare. It's if a youngster is going to sit down and listen to some stuff on anger management if they don't have to, right? But I'm hoping that some of us that come to realize that we do have anger issues and that some of the ways that we deal with our anger are unreasonable, that they will take the time to try to better themselves and learn other ways of doing things, right? And a lot of what I'll talk about, it will be pre-recorded videos. I'll try to keep a lot of them short, like go through sections. um, and I got two ways that I do it. Sometimes I'll read directly from the book, like read a couple paragraphs and elaborate on those paragraphs. If I have personal situations that correlate to what's being said, I will throw that out there. I have no problem with disclosing, my own issues, right? Uh, so yeah, so I'm hoping that this channel is able to bring a lot of benefit to people, right? As well as I mentioned the thing with the cell phone and the Android phones. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how I'm gonna have my camera set up to go through the process of showing, because I want to go from the most basic things as it relates to cell phones, including connecting the phone to Wi-Fi, turning the phone, first of all turning the phone on, connected to Wi-Fi, setting it up from the beginning, setting up the emails and stuff like that, how to do emails, and and hopefully it just go on and on. And like I say, for people that know how to use their phone or that got some information on it, it probably won't be all that interesting to them. But some of us, we have parents and grandparents and homies and different people who may not have a lot of information and don't know how to use their phone, right? Because these phones now can do more than the computers could do when I went in, right? These phones is just crazy the things they could do. Matter of fact, this video, I'm sitting here in front of my phone and I got it, sitting up in front of me using the front camera, recording this video. So, and I've even sent the facts from the toilet using my cell phone, right? Probably didn't need to hear that, but yeah, I'm known to be the TMI guy, right? Too much information, right? Except to the police. Anyway, um, I'm hoping, you know, you can check out some of the content. Like I said, a lot of the videos I'll try to keep them short. with the exception of the lives, right? I'll when I do lives, once I get subscribers. At the time of this video, I have 0 subscribers. So as I get subscribers and start going live, you know, I'll have those. Won't necessarily have a time limit. They'll go as long as it's productive, and we'll stop. And then I'll try to, you know, leave those videos up for people, you know, to see those in the future. So appreciate your, I would appreciate your support, and hopefully I'll see you on the channel. Thanks.